Hello everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace here. Dropping in on you. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who tuned in earlier this morning for this week's episode of The Teachers with Dr. Blanchard, myself, and filmmaker Tony Lindsay, and the discussions we had. I think we had a great discussion. I think we had some serious content to discuss, but we did it in a way that I think we invited everybody in, and we respected everybody's point of view. We spoke clearly and respectfully but passionately about how we saw things, and I think that we left a lot to be explored, and that's the challenge. And I think that that's where Tony and I actually connect. Is it's not important to me that you think like I think, but it's important to me that you think, that you are not reactive, that you're not functioning from some idea, Eurocentric idea of what is. And I think that that's a great issue within the Black community, is that a lot of us are judging our own people based off of a Eurocentric idea of what's to be expected and how things should be dealt with. And I think that we touched on that. I think that we did a great job in that. And I'm appreciative to everybody involved. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. There was something that did arise at the beginning of that I definitely want to touch on because it's a point of passion. We were getting into the discussion of the whole Will, Jaden, Chris Rock, Oscars thing, and we were looking at it from a number of different perspectives. And respectfully, someone chimed in, and I'm giving the benefit of the doubt that it was respective because I see their point of view. But I wanted to address it in a more definite manner and without all of the other ancillary influences and points of view surrounding what was going on at that time. Okay, someone came on and said, while y'all are talking about celebrities, you know, what about Black boys and girls in school and whatever, and you know how horribly they're performing in school, but Black men want to talk about celebrities. Well, the truth of the matter is, first and foremost, if we're going to be honest, it's not just Black men talking about this situation. It's actually more Black women weighing in on it than Black men. I've checked it. Okay, so that's the first thing, but the idea is it's Black men. That immediately points to this bias about how we're going to view one another, how we're going to judge one another. We're going to place everybody in a category. Second of all, it showed a lack of understanding of where that person was, for that person, and where they was and who they were talking to, because nobody talks about Black children and the need to create the proper environment for Black learning more than me at this particular point on any platform. None of my contemporaries are doing what I'm doing. I've got 2 books out of my 24 solely dedicated to how we're educating and empowering our youth. My primary focus every day when I get on here is talking about the need to properly educate, prepare, and socialize young Black males. And so it says, you really don't know who I am, and you're judging a moment in time without the true context. And we do that far too often. We do that far too often. We come in and we say something and we don't have the totality of the information. And so we're judging someone based off a split second. And we kind of talked about that today as well, not about this particular topic, but about how we tend to judge people on an instantaneous situation without looking at the totality of what they brought to the table. So, but what I want to talk about is, now, this person came and said what they said. Respectfully, there's a great deal of validity to the fact. And I acknowledge this, and I've acknowledged it for decades because this is what I do. But I've acknowledged it, that we have a situation where young Black males in the 8th grade, close to 90% of young Black males are reading beneath their grade level. Many are functionally illiterate. And that's a problem, because that translates into higher violence rates, higher incarceration rates, lower income earning potential, low social fluidity, low social capacity, and so many other things that basically create men who aren't able to function holistically in their roles as men. Unbelievably valid point. Well, here's the flip side of it, and this is why I probably took issue with it. I get people like that. I get you. I understand that. Here's my challenge, and here's my problem. My challenge is I talk about this every day. Damn near every day. I'm the person who has people brought to me every day that need my help because they are in situations that could have been avoided if we had a national network or a social structure in which we could properly socialize our young black males on a universal level. But they're brought to me, and so I'm working with all the stuff. I'm working with kids who are incarcerated. I'm working with kids who are dealing with depression. I'm working with kids who are struggling in the academic process. I'm working with all these people, and I absolutely love the work I do. But nobody's funding it. Nobody's getting behind it. And the government's not going to fund it. Matter of fact, we were having a conversation, Dr. Blanchard and I, about trying to get a pilot program in the Broward County School District, which he is the director of security in, to try to get that school district to allow us to take over a school, me and another person who we also had on, Sister Latavia Sister Latava, we're just gonna say that right now. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I move too fast and I get it wrong. But anyway, that's what we're talking about getting on, because that seems to be the only way we're gonna get to these kids in the grand scheme, is literally go in and create the situation. But still, that's asking a non-black system to fund a focus on a black issue. And that comes with challenges, because you can't go in and say you're going to be helping black kids, because then they can say that's discriminatory. Well, if they're funding it, they get to say what they want, and they get to put the controls on it, and then still that's one school. It's a start, so I'm up for it. I'm up for literally leaving my family in my city to go to that city for a year to work with these kids, because that's how passionate I am. The truth of the matter is, there's enough money in the black community to fund this on a national level and not just one freaking school. But what we will do is we'll complain about what I'm talking about on a program that I developed, I created, I fund, I executive produce. We'll talk about what I should be talking about on it, but nobody will fund what I should be doing. I agree, I need to be doing it, and I am doing it. I'm doing more than anybody else right now. I'm out there putting it in, and I'm telling you, it takes a toll. You know, you don't know what I have to do to be able to sleep at night. You don't know what I have to do to be able to get myself charged for the morning, because nobody's riding it with me but a few friends. You don't know the toll it takes on my marriage. You don't know the toll that it takes to be a warrior in this thing, but everybody wants to talk about what I should be doing on something I created that nobody's getting behind and funding. You know, you don't owe me anything. I get it. But also, if you're not going to be a part of it, I don't owe you to respond to behave the way you think I should. Even when I'm actually doing it, you just aren't aware of it. I don't owe you an explanation until you start being a part of the solution and you start joining in the fight. Then I will make myself accountable to you. I will tell you what I'm doing. I'll show you what I'm doing. I have no problem in that, but you're not going to sit up and come on and try to control a narrative without understanding who you're dealing with, what they're doing, and how they're doing it. That's just the microcosm of a bigger problem, and that's the reason I'm addressing it. If I thought it was just one person, it wouldn't be worth my time. But it's a bunch of people that love to judge but aren't engaged. Here's what I found. I found that if I invest myself in what I should be doing, and I'm fully engaged, I have very little time to critique what someone else is doing in the sense of trying to solve the problem. I think that we've got to be very careful. The people who are out here willing to do the work are highly criticized and underfunded. And it's not just me. Dr. Blanchard and I have this conversation, and have been having this conversation about 8 years now, about how everybody will jump on and talk about how awesome something is, but never get behind it. We're good with fanfare. I don't need fanfare. I don't need my ego stroked. I don't need nobody to tell me how good I am or how well of a job I've done. Now, when people do it, I appreciate it, and it means something to me, but I don't need it. I'm not here to have my ego stroked. I've done enough in my life to look back at my life, and my ego is stroked by my work. I don't need anybody to tell me I've done a good job. I can look at it, I can count it, I can see it, I can measure it. I know the work. I know what I'm leaving as a legacy. That's all that matters to me, is the legacy I leave from me and mine. I want my grandkids and great-grandkids to look at me and say, man, my grandfather didn't sit idly by and whine and complain. My grandfather was a major force in what I'm able to do right now. I'm doing that, so I'm good. What I do want and what I do need are people who can see what I've done in research, what I've done in program development, what I've done in creating a solution, and say, look, I'm going to get behind you. I'm going to back you. I'm going to stand with you. How much do you need? And when you ask me how much do you need, I'm going to tell you, and then I'll tell you how it's going to be used. But I'm not going to sit around running around making myself accountable to people who aren't making themselves accountable to me. We do this together. I'm going to do what I can until I don't have anything left. But what I'm not going to do anymore is rob my family. So, with that being said, I just had to say that because I look at that and I'm like, wait a minute, what? You know, you're trying to tell me what I should be focused on when what you're talking about is the thing I focus on the most. Anybody that follows me knows it. And I get it. If you don't follow me, you jump on. But you don't automatically make the assumption that I'm not doing that. That's a problem we have. We love to go to the negative assumption first. The proper way to have addressed that would have been, I don't know what you guys do. This is my first time here. I'm not here a lot. But, you know, are you guys focusing on issues with young black children? Because that's where one of our problems is. I understand the big thing on celebrities right now, but where my concern is this, and then I can get with that. But when you automatically are ready to assume, and then you label it as black men, you're saying that that's something we're doing. When the black men on that particular episode are hard in the paint doing positive stuff constantly. Tony Lindsay is not only working in the community, Tony Lindsay is a black single father of a black male. Michael Blanchard has been instrumental in getting a lot of the things that I get done. He has been my most consistent supporter long before we got to where we are now. But that's how we became friends, because he was consistently a supporter, the most consistent supporter, period. Okay, I was a single father of black boys, right? Black girl too, but of black boys. She's been in the fight a long time. I know what it's like. I know what it feels like. I know what it takes. And so, yeah, I'm in this thing. Now, if we're going to really make a difference, we're going to have to do something about it. Like I said, I'm looking for ways to be effective in any way I possibly can. But nothing is going to be effective as something we build ourselves and fund ourselves, because then we answer to ourselves. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to have somebody want to fund you, but then tell you how that you're going to do it and what you can't do. Because now it all of a sudden becomes about every other group except your group. I know. I've been there. That's why I've always self-funded for the most part. So with that being said, you know, I'm out here doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it. You know, prime example, I sit up and I start a fundraiser 3 months ago. It might be longer than that. Now, it was in December, whatever this month is. It was in December. I started a fundraiser, supposed to have been a week, to raise a certain amount of money. We haven't even raised 10% of that in 3 months. I'm not talking about a whole lot of money. I'm talking about $10,000. All the money being flashed on social media that we spending on bull crap, material stuff and all that to show white people we got money and our communities are dying. Don't tell me the money isn't out there. So it is. And I had another one of my, somebody I consider to be a blossoming relationship, friendship, but started out as a client. You know, another person that's looking for ways to help me reach out and touch people because he sees my passion. And so I'm going to get out there. I'm going to make it happen. But don't come to me and tell me about what I should be doing when you're not willing to get behind it. And this is the nice version of me responding to that. On that note, look, I'm out of here.